Hi, I'm Connie Cenac, and welcome to Connie's Corner. I'm so glad you could join us today because I've got a very special lady here. Her name is Amy Pope Wells, and she's a dear friend of mine. She's also the COO of Welcome Home Care in Jacksonville, Florida. She's an amazing woman of God, and the first thing I want y'all to get to know about her is her walk with God, because that's number one in anybody's life. So, Amy, thanks for coming on my show. I'm so excited.
Thanks for having me.
This day for a long time. So I'm going to just get right to the point. So were you born saved?
You know, that's a great question. I would say no.
Exactly. Nobody is. We're all born sinners.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So you were raised in a Christian home? What?
I was, Connie. I was blessed to be raised by two wonderful parents who were heavily involved in the Nazarene church growing up. Mom and Dad were involved in the choir, involved in Sunday schools. As a matter of fact, Pam and Mike Henson, who are my pastor and pastor's wife, were my parents' best friends.
Oh.
And they traveled together. They spent a lot of time together. So most of our life was centered around the church. It was, you know, home, school, and church. And so it was a great upbringing.
Wonderful. You're not an only child. You have brothers and sisters?
I have a younger sister. She's 6, almost 7 years younger than me.
Okay, so you're the
It's a
older
big difference.
one. Parents make their mistakes on us older kids. You know,
Yes, they do.
They made them all on me, right? Oh, whatever. But so how was your life? I mean, you were in church, but were you actually a born-again child of God?
So I lived in a what I would consider, looking at family structure now, in a pretty strict family. A lot of the teaching and stuff was around biblical principles, and so being involved in Sunday school, you heard the scriptures, you sang the songs, you knew the stories, and you know, being the role that my parents were in, we were always in the first or second row at church, right? So what I would say is being raised in that environment, I think I felt like I was already saved. I was already there, and this is what we were supposed to do, and this was the difference between right and wrong, and being good all the time. And my parents led us with strong convictions. My father had very strong convictions, and my mother was very supportive. And actually, she was at times even the church secretary when they needed a church secretary. So sometimes we had to play around the secretary's office. But you know, my walk with God has waxed and waned over my life. And I would say that the first probably 15 years of my life, I was saved, but I wasn't saved the way I am now. I believe when you're really and truly convicted and saved, there becomes a deep humility, and it gets deeper the more you seek. And so one of the things that's happened to me as I've gotten older is I remember some of the songs my mother would sing and my dad, because they were in the choir, but they have new meaning to me now. And I think if people would take the time sometimes to listen to the words and actually practice the words,
I
they
think
would
that's
actually
really missing today in today's Christian culture, is we don't sing the old hymns anymore.
Right. There's a lot of messages. They are very
that's
rich.
How in the centuries ago when people couldn't read, that's how they learned their doctrine. They didn't read the Bible, but they learned their doctrine through the songs that were sung.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
That's exactly right.
Well, I would say until I was 15. Like probably any given child, is you actually followed the rules out of a state of fear, maybe, so strict in fear, but yet fear of, we did a lot in the Nazarene church. They taught a lot on Revelations. Yes.
Wow.
So I would spend many nights. I'll never forget a wonderful gentleman who was a friend of our parents, who owned a real estate company in town. He's no longer alive. His name was Hull Pinniger. And his daughter and I were really good friends, playing around the church and hanging out. And we would sit on Wednesdays or Friday nights in the back of churches as he gave the stories and the videos of Revelations.
Oh, wow.
So needless to say, yeah, it kept us teenagers straight. Exactly.
I don't want to be here for that. Please, Lord.
Oh, mercy. I'll never forget the beheading.
Yeah.
I mean, it was burned in me.
Oh, gosh.
It was burned in me. But, you know, as I began to get older, there was a point in time in my life that the meaning of things began to change. And I'll tell you the day it was. I was in high school, preparing to graduate, and I had 2 serious events occur in my life. The first event was my best friend was killed by a drunk driver.
Oh my gosh.
And we stayed at her bedside for over a week as she slowly passed away. So my high school graduation, which I thought was going to be a celebratory time, it was my actual first time behind a podium, giving my class commencement speech about her because she was the class Victorian. The valedictorian of our class, who was supposed to be behind that podium, had passed away just months before our actual graduation. But you know, God had a plan there.
Yes.
I stood behind that podium and told the story of her life as I knew it at a time when her parents were grieving and really couldn't tell the story. And I don't even know that they were interested in telling the story at that point in time. And so after that, it took a few months to kind of move towards, you know, summer events. And I was supposed to go with my friends to a high school graduation party. We were going to go, I'll never forget, North Myrtle Beach. It's the place to go when you're a teenager. You're 18, you're celebrating. You're going to have the party of your life. First time away from parents. We're going to really have some fun. And I went and I came back because I had the most incredible back and left side pain I'd ever experienced in my life, and I thought I'd pulled something. And I'd actually, my left kidney, was beginning to shut down because I had a kidney stone in my left kidney the size of a rock. Literally the size of my fist. So
how the heck did you ever survive that?
It was a long, arduous period where I spent the summer before going off to school, re-looking at my life and watching healthcare and watching nurses come and go because I was still young and healthy, but at the same time, the kidney was doing what it was doing. So instead of celebrating the summer and preparing to go off to school, I laid in the bed, really living the story of Stephanie's life, and then began to contemplate my own. And that led me into wanting to go to nursing school and become a nurse and to do for others what had been done for me, because during the death of Stephanie and during that time, you know, I never experienced that. I used to tell my parents, you didn't prepare me for these things, because how can you prepare your child for life?
Can't.
Life is rough, life is tough, and that's why everybody needs to have a great relationship with God and be deep in their faith, because that's what gets you through it. And so it was the first time I can really say that I faced God.
Wow.
And I really was humbled about life and his experiences at the age of 18.
Well, I'm glad you got it at that age, because I didn't get it till I was 30.
Did you not?
Oh, gosh, no.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's a lot of time to make a lot of mistakes before you finally meet God and say, okay, Lord, I can't do this without you.
Right.
Every time I try, I really make a mess of things, right?
Right.
So after that, were you the perfect Christian?
No. Actually, as a matter of fact, I went to school. I actually became queen of my college.
Oh, wow.
And,
well, you are the superstar, I swear.
No. I was just loving on people and being joyful with where I was at, which I guess gets you the votes, you know?
Yep.
Didn't think about it at the time, you know, that's what it was doing, but they had nominated me most likely to succeed, and the queen of the college, which came with its own level of first grade scrutiny, right? It wasn't anything you were chasing for, it's just something that happened. But anyway, so I go on and graduate and take my first job bedside, and God, Connie, I gotta tell you, there was some real experiences there. I was probably under 6 months of being a nurse doing bedsides, and lo and behold, one of the kids that went to in town but didn't go to the same school as was hit by a drunk driver, and he was laid flat on his back for months, and there I was. He falls in love with me and going through the challenges of taking care of patients who are falling in love with you and loving on them and taking care of them, but still being a young girl. And then lead me on into critical care where people were really sick. And sometimes you might be the last smell they smell or sound they hear or touch they feel. And that was a real special time in my life. But during that process, needless to say, I was pregnant, and I decided that being in an intense environment 12 hours a day, a good distance from where my home was, that I ended up transitioning to an administrative level in home health.
Wow.
That's actually my next step. Is I knew I wanted to still be involved and take care of people, but it was Olston Kimberly Quality Care at the time.
Oh, yeah.
It was Kimberly Quality when I got there and became Olston real quickly. Anyway, jumped into that, and somehow or another from the field, I ended up in the office and continued doing the work that I did. So,
well, I know you've had an incredible journey, and beyond anything that this 15-minute show can talk about.
Right.
So I want you to come back and carry forward, because
Sure.
your journey has been, as far as everything I know, and I know there's more that I don't know.
Right.
I know that would be, it's just an incredible path that God has taken you on. It hasn't been easy.
No.
So I want us to get together right away.
Sure.
Okay, and continue this testimony of God's grace in your life. And if you'd like to hear more about this, and give me a thumbs up, and like and subscribe to the channel so that we can get together again in Connie's Corner.